Hi, this is Patricia with through-these-eyes.com, and I just finished peeling a whole mess of fresh peaches. These peaches I got from my tree, and the reason why is I'm going to make a marvelous recipe called Peach Crunch. We just got back from a vacation in Folly Beach, South Carolina, and we were visiting family, and my soon-to-be sister-in-law actually made this wonderful, wonderful recipe, and I just had to have it, and so she shared it with me. So I thought I would share it with you. Let me get prepared here. We will be using lots of peaches. I would say if you're store-bought, maybe 8 to 9 peaches. We're going to use 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Well, actually, correction. Her recipe calls for 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. Now, I don't have that, and I didn't have time to run to the store, so what you can do is I use 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and for each cup of flour, you're going to use 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon salt. So I've mixed that up here. So we're going to need the flour, again, self-rising if you have it, 1.5 cups. We're going to use 1 cup white sugar, 1/4 cup brown sugar, 3 teaspoons of vanilla, 1 whole egg, and I believe that's it. So let's get started. Okay, I have here 1.5 cups of flour, and I'm going to measure out, because I haven't measured out yet, my brown sugar. Now, one of the tricks that she told me is that not to be afraid to really pack it in. So the more packed you can squeeze your sugar, just the better. Okay, so I am really pushing hard in here. Okay, so we have 1 cup sugar, 1/2 cup really packed brown sugar, and we're just going to mix that up. We're going to pretend that I already added the baking powder and salt, shall we? All right, let's see how well this goes. Mix that in. One of the downfalls of doing things live or on video, but we only have enough for one recipe, right? Who wants to start over? All right. So the trick is to mix this up really nice and well. Make sure it's really, really well blended. Now, I just use a fork. You can use a whisk, but I like the control of a fork better. All right. While that is settling there, I'm going to go ahead and melt butter. I'm just cutting up the butter a little bit to help it melt along. And I'm going to go in 30-second intervals there just to make sure that it melts smoothly. I'm going to continue to whisk the flour sugars mixture to make sure that it's nicely well done. Nicely well mixed. Okay, let's see. And that looks nicely melted. All right, now this is perhaps the most difficult, time-consuming portion of the recipe. We're going to take 1 egg. And we're going to slightly beat it. And then we're going to mix this into the flour sugar mixture until it becomes mealy, was the term that she used. Basically, it becomes really crumbly. You're going to think it's not going to be enough. You're going to want to add another egg, but don't do it. I don't know if I can get this in the camera, but you'll see it like just the 1 egg really doesn't seem like it's going to do it, but it does. All right, and it looks like we are just about done with fully combining the flour, sugars, and egg. So I'm going to set this aside. Now to my melted butter, you're going to add 3 teaspoons of vanilla. One of the things that Missy told me is that even though she measures her 3 teaspoons, it doesn't really bother her if she spills a little bit. And that's perfectly fine because I do that anyway. I've never been one to just go, oh look, that's exactly a teaspoon. Oops. Okay, so that's about 3 teaspoons, right? Now we add the teaspoons of vanilla to the melted butter just to make it a little more evenly flavored. And now comes the fun part. Okay, here comes the fun part. My battery died, so the entire rest of the video that showed the process of how you put the peach crunch together is gone. And as you know, with cooking, you get 1 shot, and so now I get to tell you instead of show you what I do. So at the end of this little inserted video will be the final video where I actually take it out of the oven and give you a few more little details on that. So I'll save that for the ending. But I can show you now early what the finished product is so that I can show you, or I can tell you the process. First off, the best thing to use is actually a 7 by 11 inch rectangular baking dish or cake pan. And I don't have one that size, so I used an 8 by 8, which is a little too small. I had some extra peaches, and that leaves you with extra crunch topping, but that's okay. I have these little guys here, and they are a 1 cup, maybe, I'm not sure, so I call it an ice cream bowl because that's what I use it for, but I think you can put pudding and stuff like that in there. So I use 2 of those. One is empty because I ate it already. Like I said, I didn't find out that I'm missing like the whole middle section until after everything was done, and I'm like, oh my God, okay. So, but that just proves it's good. All right, so what you do, you take your pan, and you're going to take the peaches that you have prepared, and you're going to just toss them in there. And you want to shake it up, make sure that they're nice and evenly spread out. Over your peaches, which I didn't write down in the recipes, I'll add that to the notes part of the recipe. You will take some sugar, and that's kind of your preference. I mean, I used maybe like a palm full of sugar, and you just kind of sprinkle it over the peaches. You know, you may see a little bit more sugar on one side, a little bit less on the other, but that's completely up to you. And I use the white sugar. At that point, you're going to take your crumble, your crumbs, and you're going to just pour it on top. Use your hands and spread it out evenly, smoothly. press it down on top of the peaches, and you really want to make sure that you press the edges and the corners because you want a nice seal that keeps all the juices inside. Once you have that all nice and in and you press down, smooth it out so you have a nice flat surface, you're going to take your stick of melted butter with the 3 teaspoons of vanilla, and you're going to drizzle that on top. You don't have to be too careful. Try to get it around the edges. Make sure that it's spread all over. If it pools a little bit, that's perfectly okay because you're going to use your fingers, and you're going to spread it to make sure that you do get into those corners and edges. Once that's all done, I bake it at a 350-degree oven for about 45 minutes. At 45 minutes, it's perfect. These little guys come out nice and crisp, and you get this beautiful color. And like I said, right after this little segment of video, you'll see the final ta-da when I pull it out of the oven, and I'll leave that in there. I do just want to say I'm really sorry, and you know, it's not going to happen again, trust me. I'm going to make sure that I have like 2 batteries hooked up to my camera so that that doesn't happen. That, or I just need to cut down on how much I talk, right? Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I'm sorry for this. You can get the complete recipe on my website, through-these-eyes.com. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. And yeah, please watch the last little part of the video, and I hope you enjoy it. And we're back. It's been about 45 minutes, and I'm anxiously anticipating getting the peach crunch out of the oven. Let's see. These are absolutely delicious. I don't know if you can get a good look at these. Here's the little mini ones, and they are just golden brown. And then the large one, that just looks absolutely amazing. So they're gonna sit and cool for as long as I can take it. Now I'm sure you can add cinnamon, nutmeg to the recipe, but this simple recipe is absolutely delicious. It doesn't really even need anything further. But maybe the next time I'll make it, I'll try to add some cinnamon or nutmeg to it. Yeah, I can't wait. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this as much as I know I will. All right, thank you very much. See you soon.